What is up, everyone? It is Blue here. How is everyone doing today? So I just got done watching Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse with a couple of my friends today, and words cannot describe how amazing this movie is and how hyped I am for the next film. I would go as far as to say that this is possibly the best comic book movie of all time. Even better than No Way Home, better than the first movie without a doubt. And I would even go as far as to say that this is possibly better than Spider-Man 2 as well. First thing I will say about this film, the animation, the visuals. It goes hard with the visuals. I'm not even exaggerating when I say this. When we swap to different universes, like Gwen's universe, for example, or Spider-Punk's universe as well, it switches between art styles. It's actually so cool to see swapping between different art styles to match that universe. Even Indian Spider-Man, when we go to his universe, even the art style changes to, like, you know, traditional 2D hand-drawn animation. It is just amazing. Also, the story for this film is very dark. I think this film has basically pushed the boundaries of what an animated film can actually be. The first Spider-Verse movie obviously changed animation forever. Like, you see movies like the new Ninja Turtles movie, you see movies like Puss in Boots, Mitchell's vs. Machines, and you can tell like Spider-Verse has actually inspired those films to be the way they are. And this movie basically adds on to that. It basically is the exact same, but it does it better. It tackles topics that are like really like heartbreaking at times. For example, Gwen's story. Her story in her dimension is like really sad because she basically revealed to her dad that she's Spider-Woman, and her dad has been trying to like track her for like years at that point. Captain Stacy basically like believes that Gwen murdered Peter when it really wasn't like that. Peter was basically trying to impress Gwen by turning into the lizard and then, you know, try and like act for himself pretty much, and it's really heartbreaking. I'm not gonna go too into it, but it's really heartbreaking, especially the scenes with Miles where he's trying to balance his life as Spider-Man and then being like an actual normal human being, trying to go to school, trying to like impress his parents and all that as well. Like, it actually tackles really like dark topics, especially for an animated movie as well. Even Miguel's backstory is pretty sad as well. His other version was basically a father and he got shot, and then the Miguel who is Spider-Man replaced him, and then his whole universe got corrupted. His family got erased from reality, and then his entire universe got erased from reality just because Miguel was in the universe when he shouldn't be. It really doesn't feel like a kid's film. Just because it is an animated movie, everyone assumes that it's like a kid's movie. It really isn't. And I even forgot to talk about the Spot, which was the main villain of this movie. He starts off as like a really like sort of goofy character where he doesn't know what he's doing. He's still trying to get used to his like new power. And fun fact, he is the guy that gets hit by the bagel in the first film, which is pretty funny. The Spot turns into this like pretty creepy character, like this really like insane villain. It's pretty like shocking that he starts off as like a goofy character to like him being like an actual proper threat, like him going to between different dimensions and actually like destroying them one by one. He still has like quips and he's still like a goofy character, but his power, because of how like insane his power is, he just becomes like this absolute abominable threat, basically like Goku Black in a way. So overall, I would say the story is just beautiful. And then we move on to basically the entire movie, what it's all about, the different Spider-Man in different dimensions. There are so many Spider-Men in this movie. There's a whole society of them. Obviously there's a lot of cameos, like for example Spectacular Spider-Man makes an entrance, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man is in there as well, Scarlet Spider-Man, you know, Ben Reilly Spider-Man's in there too. When it comes to cameos in movies, right, when it comes to references, like the Mario movie for example, it's just references in your face all the time, you know, like they expect you to know, oh that's that, oh my god it's this, oh my god it's that, in one frame basically. I didn't mention this in the Mario movie review, but I didn't really like the fact that movie had so many Easter eggs just thrown at you in like one frame. If anything, they should have done what Sonic 1 did and just like, you know, introduce like little Easter eggs like now and then, you know what I mean? And this movie does a really good job of like using the cameos in a clever way. There's one scene where Miguel explains to Miles how the multiverse works, and he shows like all of the different versions of Captain Stacy dying because he was helping Spider-Man, and they use Andrew's scene from Taz 1. It feels natural. Even in the background as well, there's like a little monitor that shows Toby's universe where his Uncle Ben dies as well. Like, again, it just feels natural. And don't even get me started on the ending for this film. Honestly, this is possibly like the most confusing, the most insane, the most like annoying ending for any movie ever made. I'm not even exaggerating when I say that. The thing is with the ending with Across the Spider-Verse, right? It has a really massive build up, right? It has a amazing build up to like what's about to come. Miles is in the wrong dimension. Gwen is trying to, you know, fix her relationship with her father, which she does, and then she tries to like recruit like the older gang with Spider-Noir, Penny Parker, like all of the old Spider-Man that we saw in the first film. The only complaint I can really say about Across the Spider-Verse is that the movie just ends because of how long the movie is. Like, it's a 2.5 hour movie. It is the longest animated movie of all time. But I honestly would have been okay with like it being 4 hours long, because they're trying to like set up like, you know, the next film, which is Beyond the Spider-Verse, and I sort of see why they decided to like end it the way they did. But it kind of has me feeling like sort of unsatisfied, because again, we don't know what the hell's gonna happen. Like, Miles is still in the wrong dimension, because the reason why that happens is because the spider that Miles gets bit by wasn't from his dimension originally. Because Miles has the DNA from that spider that wasn't from his dimension, that DNA has basically like led him into the wrong dimension which that spider was from, and it's an alternate dimension where Spider-Man never existed. So instead of Miles being Spider-Man, Miles is the Prowler, which was a pretty insane plot twist, if I'm going to be honest with you. It goes to show like what can happen with all of these supervillains and all that as well. But I do see what they're doing. They neatly tied up the bow with Gwen's arc, where basically her father like is sort of like, you know, disgusted with Gwen being Spider-Woman, but they do end up resolving that issue as well near the end, which was pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie, it had me tearing up, to be fair. There was a lot of scenes in this movie that made me tear up, but just because the ending was abrupt doesn't mean that this movie wasn't spectacular. As I said before, this film is possibly the best comic book movie, and it is possibly the best movie by far, in my opinion. In my eyes, this is possibly like is a perfect film. It has heart, it has emotion, it has the coolest action scenes I've ever seen in an animated movie, and the visuals just carry it. The art style that it has, it just carries it. And I love all the characters. It doesn't matter who they are. I love Miles, I love Gwen, I love Miguel, I even love Spider-Punk as well. Like, he was actually pretty insane too.
Shamik Kamal as Miles did a fantastic job as Miles, as always. Haley Stanfield, who is one of my favourite actresses of all time, did a fantastic job as Gwen too. Even Daniel Kaluuya as Spider-Punk was actually pretty funny too. I also forgot to mention Peter B. Parker. I love Peter B. Parker in this film. He's just the father that's trying to look out for Mayday and then trying to look out for Miles as well. Like, his arc in the story is really like depressing, if I'm going to be honest, but again, it's amazing.
Again, like, the cameos in this movie are just insane as well. Like, again, it blends in with the actual plot instead of it being there for just like fan service, like the Mario movie, for example. What else should I say? Like, I said this in my previous video, go support this movie, go and see this movie. I wouldn't recommend it enough. Like, it's honestly the best Spider-Man movie of all time. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Across the Spider-Verse. Again, I loved Spider-Man ever since I was a little kid, and seeing this movie was just magical. And I haven't had that feeling to watch a Spider-Man movie in a very long time, ever since No Way Home. Like, it's just a dream that this movie exists. Again, like I said before, go see this film. Go watch it. It's honestly amazing. If you guys did enjoy this little, like, sort of messy review, then please leave a like. Comment down below what you loved about the film without, you know, spoiling it too much. I'll see you guys on for my next video. Peace out.